Okay, let's see how this rolls. Okay, perfect. It works. Nice. Okay. Ready. Okay, we're live, guys. We're live. Okay, perfect. Now I can close this out for now. It's fine. Okay, recording. Okay, let's start there.
Here we go. All right. I think this guy's... All right. Oh my gosh. I was going to say, I think this guy's back in here because I see all the damn, all the equipment in here. It's just laying on the ground. Very interesting, but I'll take it. I'm going to...
The Dark Psychology of Call of Duty, no Russian. What? What the heck is that? Alright, this is nonsense.
The news of Micron retiring their consumer-focused brand from the market, Crucial, has sent hardware enthusiasts and pundits into hysteria. It's important to understand the context of Micron's decision if we want to understand if this is an isolated case or if more companies will follow suit and leave the consumer market as well. Is there a conspiracy by memory companies to collude and screw the consumer, or is there something else entirely going on? Let's dig in, but first, a word from today's sponsor. VIPURCDkeys.com are having a Black Friday big sale with official Windows 11 OEM keys costing only $23 and a few cents when you use my coupon code C25 for 25% off the listed price. If you buy a license directly from Microsoft, you'll end up spending over $200 on a home edition key, but with an official OEM.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Fortune here. Welcome back to the channel. I am sorry for the microphone first and foremost.
The microphone.
All right, fellas, welcome back. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I have never been more embarrassed.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this video before.
Than I was when I saw this floating around the Twitter timeline.
All right, let's see what this...
Israel is banning Chinese cars for security reasons. And China, Russia, and North Korea are running rehearsals for World War III. That and more on this week's China News Headlines.
China.
Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. This episode is sponsored
I got
by
a clip,
Surfshark.
guys.
Whenever you go online, you really should be using a VPN like Surfshark to cover your tracks and protect your identity. I'll tell you more in a bit. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned that Russia and China are stepping up their military-industrial cooperation. And no, you didn't accidentally click on a rerun. This is happening again. I'd hold up a newspaper to show you the date if the newspaper industry wasn't on its dying gas.
They're landing on us, bro.
Zelensky said in a post on X, because that's apparently how news gets around these days, that Kiev's intelligence services noted just how dependent Russia's companies and state system have become on Chinese investments, technologies, and political priorities. And moral support, I assume. I bet they have a phone call every week where she calls Putin Daddy's big boy. Zelensky also called out Russia for allowing China to use resource-rich lands and selling rare resources to China, saying in his nightly address, "In Russian history, no one has ever surrendered sovereignty to such a great extent to China or any other stronger nation. It's astonishing how much Putin is paying simply to avoid ending the war." Basically, according to Zelensky, Russia is going from resource-rich to resource colony. Who would have thought this war was a bad idea? Besides all the people shouting, "This war is a bad idea!" Speaking of Chinese cooperation with Russia, both South Korea and Japan scrambled warplanes in response to a joint Russia and China air patrol. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff noted that 7 Chinese and 2 Russian warplanes entered the Korean Air Defense Identification Zone, which isn't the same as outright entering South Korea's airspace, but it's just one step removed. These warplanes remained for over an hour and flew as far as Tsushima in Japan, where the Japanese Air Force also scrambled jets, as the aircraft rendezvoused with still more planes and flew around Japan. Of course, both the CCP and Russia insisted this was just a joint military exercise. How harmless! Who cares that some of the planes near Japan were bombers? And one was Russia's early warning and control craft, the A-50. Also, coincidentally, this happened just around the same time that North Korea fired multiple artillery rockets into nearby waters. Isn't it nice to see the gang all back together again? And by nice, I mean terrifying. Given the stress of constantly wondering, oh, is this the start of World War III? I'm shocked everyone in the region isn't bald. Oh wait, there's more. Japan is protesting after a Chinese military jet locked its radar on Japanese aircraft, which I guess is the dogfighting equivalent of, I'm not touching you, only instead of with hands, it's rockets. The CCP claims that Japan's self-defense force aircraft were severely obstructing their safe flight path, while Japan says that their aircraft were a safe distance from the Chinese aircraft which they were following after the Chinese jets performed taking off and landing exercises on a carrier near Okinawa. The US and Japan did hold a joint air exercise right after this happened in hopes that it will deter any more aggressive moves like this. I'm not holding my breath. China has executed a former banker for taking over $156 million, dollars, not yuan, in bribes. If only he could have bribed his way out of it. Bai Tianhui, the ex-general manager for China Huarong International Holdings, was sentenced back in May 2024. He allegedly took the money in exchange for offering favorable treatment when it came to acquiring and financing projects between 2014 and 2018. But apparently, he's not the only one, because Huarong has been a target of Xi's anti-corruption campaign. Many other executives have been targeted, including former chairman Lai Xiaoming, who was executed 4 years ago on charges of taking $253 million in bribes, all of which is part of Xi Jinping's wider anti-corruption crackdown on the Chinese finances.
Is that a real player?
Because the Chinese economy is doing so well right now. The Israeli military is swerving away from Chinese cars, driven by worries about spies lurking in the auto technology. Puntastic news. Earlier this year, the IDF banned all Chinese-made vehicles from entering military bases over concerns that the vehicles could collect sensitive military information, which, duh. But they kept a program where the Israeli government leased cars to higher-ups in the military, and some of those cars were Chinese-made. That's being phased out. It's a good move. As one author and expert on state-sponsored espionage notes, with the IDF, you have known identities in the cars and every place those people have traveled. That's extremely useful intelligence. To know where top military officers are at any given time is gold for intelligence collection. On top of that, modern cars can do all sorts of crazy things like listen in on conversations. So really, the most shocking part of the story is that they ever use Chinese vehicles at all. And while we're on the topic of Israel, according to sources, Taiwan's deputy foreign minister recently made a secret trip there. Given that the trip was a secret, not a whole lot of details
I think this one's a good clip.
And it seems the Israeli Foreign Ministry avoided being involved altogether so as not to anger China. But it's speculated that this is related to the island's quest to develop its own version of Israel's Iron Dome,
I'll have to do this
called
separate.
the T-Dome, which sounds more like a sports arena than a missile defense system. And did you know that every time you go online, everything you do is potentially compromised? That's why the people at Surfshark created a VPN that keeps your internet activity private and secure. You may have noticed that phishing scams are on the rise. Scammers send 3.4 billion phishing attacks every single day, trying to convince you to sign in somewhere and enter your password. A lot of these emails look legit. That's why Surfshark created the email scam checker. With one click, you can check to see if an email is probably a phishing attack. This could help save yourself from having your identity and your hard-earned money stolen by scammers. You'll also get the web content blocker, which allows you to block adult sites, drugs, gambling, and other harmful content on every device in your home. It lets you block the bad stuff without actually having to monitor what your family members are browsing.
Just a little bit
I've
of
been
facts.
using Surfshark for a long time, and it just keeps getting better. A lot of other VPNs just hide your internet activity. Surfshark does that too, and very well. And it also goes the extra mile with add-ons that keep you and your family safe from all the malicious things that come through the internet. Plus, Surfshark has servers you can connect to in more than 100 countries, more than any other VPN. So stay safe and get Surfshark. Go to surfshark.com/uncensored and use the code uncensored to get up to 4 months extra. The link is in the description below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.
It's a few days now since we had that devastating earthquake in Myanmar and some of the surrounding areas. What are the takeaways for you as we're starting to get more information coming out after this event?
Yes, well, it's a very large earthquake, magnitude 7.7, quite shallow, in an area that's well known. It's very actively seismic. Sadly, that's the numbers that are being reported right now are sadly likely to be an underestimate of the total number of casualties eventually. But in terms of the earthquake itself, some of the analysis I've been seeing over the last couple of days, it's suggesting that the rupture length
time. Doesn't do really much. You need to have a little faith. Put that. There we go. That's better. Now I have to put some kind of
took that whole spot out. Took that whole spot out.
Can I get my words out right? Alright, so there's no glow. What happened to the glow? I guess it. Oh, it's downloading. Okay, it's downloading. I have to wait. Hey, you guys out there, thanks for stopping by. Good morning. I'm studying my videos while I watch some YouTube videos. Alright. 2 days ago. Let's just check what this has to say.
For the first time in over a decade, Activision just admitted that the players were right all along.
Right,
And no,
this
this is
not
not
downloading.
something they wanted to do. This is something that they were forced to do. You see, when a franchise as massive as Call of Duty suddenly hits the panic button like this, it can only mean one thing. Something is seriously wrong behind the scenes, because the truth is, for years,
That's
Call of
fine.
Duty has survived broken launches, monetization
Maybe a
disasters,
little
and
bit
constant
less.
player backlash. But today, Activision finally threw in the towel. Their tried and true Call of Duty formula finally broke them, and now they are in full damage control mode. Folks, the downfall of Call of Duty has never been more obvious, so today, let's dive deep into Activision's latest announcement to figure out what just happened. But first, what's going on, guys? Cheers. She just has to crawl on my desk while I'm filming. Tiger came to say hi. She said you guys should definitely leave a like on the video. And if
I have
maybe
a cat
focus on
exactly
treats.
like that
All right,
one.
let's jump right in here. Activision makes big Call of
What
Duty
we have.
announcement. Quote, we will no longer do back-to-back releases of Modern Warfare or Black Ops,
What?
mainly to ensure we provide an absolutely unique experience each and every year. Raise your hand if you believe them, ladies and gentlemen. Now, just to be clear, I believe they're not going to do back-to-back releases because they just absolutely got decimated this year. Later in the video, we'll go over some sales figures, really just like some projections, but like things are looking awful for Black Ops 7. But I do not believe them that they're going to be giving us a unique experience every year. Okay, pal, that's like saying McDonald's is going to give us a unique experience every time the McRib comes out. Like, dude, it's the same thing. Let's just be honest here, okay? The article goes on
That's
to
a good
quote,
analogy.
we will drive innovation that is meaningful,
Okay.
not incremental. Really, I'm really looking forward
just
to
gonna edit
seeing
a
their
couple
roadmap
videos and
here.
then I'll
Surely
start
they've provided
gaming,
one.
but
This won't just be all fluff
I just
and
like to stream
inspirational
while
and all talk.
I listen
Activision
to
says
the
Call of Duty will no
news
longer be
and
getting back-to-back Modern
edit my
Warfare or
videos.
Black Ops releases, signaling the start of a major change in the series release order. In a blog post from Call of Duty staff, Activision steamingly responds to the less than stellar response from critics and players to the recently released Black
I don't know
Ops
if I
7.
got
Let's
that,
just
dude.
look at that blog post directly,
it was
okay?
just
A
one
message
hit.
from the Call of Duty team. That's always a good sign, right? Whenever the developers of the game have to like address the community and internet at large, it's totally fine, right? Everything must be going smoothly. Yeah, okay. First off, thank you all for the feedback we have received over the last few months. Call of Duty has enjoyed long-standing success because of all of you, a passionate community that demands excellence and deserves nothing less. Yes, the passionate community that is chugging Red Bulls and screaming slurs into the microphone at 3 in the morning. We also know that for some of you, the franchise has not met your expectations fully. To be very clear, we know what you expect, and rest assured we will deliver and over-deliver on those expectations as we move forward. Okay, all right, I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna just stop you right there, pal. If you know what the players expect, how come you keep delivering the same game that people are not happy with over and over and over again? Now, I can just speak for myself.
I think they just
personally,
keep
but
lying
I
to
did
you and
not
keep you on a
seriously
hook.
consider
That's
even
it.
playing Black Ops 7 for free because I played Black Ops 6, I played Black Ops 4, I played Black Ops 3, I played. It's all the same shit, bro. It's the same shit. And ever since Modern Warfare 2019, when they completely changed the engine and added 5,000 attachments to all the different guns and 500 different ways to monetize the game, it just wasn't Call of Duty anymore, right? And you've been doing this for years now. I mean, at least since 2019, if not before. So that's 6 years. Okay, so for 6 years, if you've known what players expect, why has the franchise been declining for the better part of a decade? Let's move on and see what they have to say here. With respect to Black Ops 7, we set our sights to deliver a spiritual successor to Black Ops 2, and the studios have poured their passion into making a great game that all of us are very proud of. But it's one thing for us to say it, more importantly, it's up to you to try it and judge for yourselves. So, as it relates to Black Ops 7 and the future of Call of Duty, here are a few important notes. 1, you'll have the opportunity to play Black Ops 7 for free. Again, another really good sign here, guys. Usually when a game just comes out and they're already giving it to players for free, that means things are probably looking really good behind the scenes. Yeah, people are probably getting fired. Anyway, let's take a look here. Next week, we are opening the doors for everyone to jump in and play Black Ops 7 multiplayer and zombies for a free trial along with a double XP weekend. We would like you to experience the game firsthand and decide for yourselves. 2, we are committed to unprecedented seasonal support. Oh my God. Yes, you clearly know exactly what the gamers want, guys. Yeah, they clearly don't know what gamers want. They don't know. They started off by saying, we know what you expect, and then they proceed to just go on and talk about stuff that people don't care about. Look, I know Call of Duty as a live service game is very successful, okay? And yes, it's important to actually support these games post-launch. But when you look at the games that have been nominated for Game of the Year for the past 2 or 3 years, if not longer, if you look at the games that recently have been topping Steam's charts, you're not gonna find something that is like all in on seasonal support, okay? It's just not, like, players are burnt out from seasonal support. Players can't possibly keep up with 20 different live service games, all of which have a paid battle pass. It's just not, it's not what players want. What players want is to buy your game and on day one have a feature complete experience. They don't want to buy a game and then on day one they boot it up and the first thing they see is the in-game store with a battle pass and microtransactions and clearly cut content on day one that you now have to pay more money for. So when they say unprecedented seasonal support, it's like, I get where they're coming from. I know why they want to commit to this, but man, I feel like you kind of have to just go back to the drawing board and think about what made Call of Duty good during its golden years. So I would say from COD 4, Modern Warfare 1, the original, up through Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2, those were the golden years in my opinion. And then you had some silver years that trailed through like Black Ops 3, and then it completely collapsed. Everything was just god awful after that, and Warzone's the only thing that saved them. And I know lots of people love Warzone, but you got to get back to your roots here, and your roots were not seasonal support. It was launching a good game on day one. Anyway, moving on, your continuing feedback will help
just got
shape our
lazy.
seasonal updates over the coming months.
They just
Season
wanted money
1
fast.
is the largest live season ever, and we're just getting started. We won't rest until Black Ops 7 earns its place as one of the best Black Ops games we've ever made. You can't do it. I'm sorry, Call of Duty, you need to change your goal. You can't do it. You will never do it. Black Ops 7, even
They
if
can,
it is
they
the
can.
best
They have the
Black
money
Ops
and the
we've ever
power.
made,
They
it
just
will
don't
never
want
get
to.
its flowers. It's not gonna happen. This is what happens when you burn your player base over and
place.
over and over and over and over and over. The only thing that is worse than negative player backlash is no player backlash at all, because that means that all the people that were passionate and cared about the game already quit. They left. They moved on. They're playing Arc Raiders. They're playing Battlefield 6. They're playing the new Fortnite season because it's got the Simpsons and whatever other crossovers they're doing lately. Like, it's nice that you're making this change now. You're probably 4 or 5 years late at this point, but don't go into this expecting players to suddenly be like, oh my God, Black Ops 7 is so good. You have to look in the mirror. Just look in the mirror and ask yourself, is it even possible that it could be one of the best Black Ops games? Just genuinely look at yourself. Look at how the in-game shop is introduced. Look at the original maps and original content you've made for that game, and honestly have that conversation with yourselves. Could this possibly be one of the best Black Ops games? And I think if you really do some soul searching, you're going to come to the conclusion that this could be a good Black Ops, but it will not be a great Black Ops. And from there, the great news is that you can grow, and for the next few releases, you can take what you've learned. But you've already made your first impressions with Black Ops 7.
make
You
a
can't
1
have a
minute
second
video.
first impression.
Too
People
long.
already made up their mind with this game, and it's nice that you're giving them the chance to play it for free, and maybe that will convert some people, maybe, but you need to look at the bigger picture. Don't tunnel down on Black Ops 7. It's already over for Black Ops 7, okay? And by the way, how about you
this
break
off.
free of the shackles of the Modern Warfare and Black Ops franchises, right? Like, I know that they were super successful. World War II
that
didn't
off.
take off, Ghosts didn't take off, Infinite Warfare didn't take off, Advanced Warfare didn't take off. None of those spun off into their own franchise that was like, oh my God, right? You need something original. There has to be another new franchise besides Modern Warfare, besides Black Ops, that's just as good, if not better. Then Call of Duty will start to get their players back. But until then, don't set goals that you cannot achieve, okay? Let's finish this off. 3, our strategy going forward is changing. We will no longer do back-to-back releases of Modern Warfare or Black Ops games. Just so we're clear, it's not that they want to change this strategy, it's that the players have forced them to no longer do this. And it's obvious, right? I mean, everyone can look at Black Ops 6 and then they can look at Black Ops 7 and be like, wow, all they did was change the number, right? And even if that's not true, even if the game is completely different, if you'll just look at gameplay from Black Ops 6 and gameplay from Black Ops 7, when you're watching a multiplayer match, someone who's played neither of those games is not going to know the difference, right? They're not going to be able to tell you, oh, well, this is clearly the newer one, right? They can't tell, okay? And this is, it's like a no-brainer. It's like, obviously you can't do back-to-back releases. Obvious, there's not enough has changed, right? That's why they spent so many years alternating, because it's like, oh, now we get the modern thing, and then we go back to the Cold War, and then we go back to the modern thing, and then we do a futuristic game, and then we go back to like World War II, and then we do a modern game. It's like that formula is just so obviously the logical way to go. So I can't believe that here we are at the end of 2025 and they have to actually admit this now. But anyway, the reasons are many, but the main one is to ensure we provide an absolutely unique experience each and every year. Yes, exactly. Thank you. I'm glad they at least know that. That was the most obvious thing in the world. You didn't have to have Black Ops 7 fail to know that, but at least you learned the lesson the hard way. All right. We will drive innovation that is meaningful, not incremental. While while we aren't sharing those plans today, we look forward to doing so when the time is right.
Sure.
To be clear, the future of Call of Duty is very strong, and we believe our best days are ahead of us given the depth and talent of our development team. We have been building the next era of Call of Duty, and it will deliver precisely on what you want, along with some surprises that push the franchise and the genre forward. We look forward to welcoming you in, listening to you,
3
and
seconds.
moving forward together. Okay,
Too
the
long.
best days are ahead of you. What makes you think that? I mean, that is actually just pure delusion. The golden age of Call of Duty ended in 2012, and basically everyone agrees with that. Like, really, even if you like the modern Call of Duties, you still agree that the best days were a long time ago, right? Even if you wanted to be incredibly charitable and say Black Ops 3 was the end of the golden age, which is like, I don't think I've ever seen someone be that charitable, but even if we wanted to do that, guess what?
Alright,
That
perfect.
came out in 2015, which was a decade ago, okay? So it has been a decade since your golden days, and you're somehow still sitting there thinking that the future is brighter, your best days are ahead of you. Really? You have a decade's worth of games that have proven that that is not true. So look, good luck. I
gonna
hope
make
it
it a
happens,
little
right?
bit
Like, I love
less.
Call of Duty. The reason I even started making YouTube videos back in the day was to be a Call of Duty YouTuber,
All right.
okay? I have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours playing the Call of Duty franchise. I love the franchise, but I haven't gotten excited for a new Call of Duty release since, like, well, probably Modern Warfare 2019, because that year was the year I finally realized, okay, this franchise is cooked. It's not for me.
that's-
It hasn't been for me for a long time, and it died for me, and that's it. And I've tried a couple of others. Black Ops 6 had some decent zombies, right? I didn't buy Modern Warfare 3. I didn't buy Modern Warfare 2. Most of these games I didn't buy. Some of them my previous roommate bought, and I just played his copy. Like, I haven't been regularly giving them my money in a long time now because the franchise has been cooked. So for them to say that your best days are ahead of you, it's like, wow, that is some insane copium or insane hopium. I don't know which it is, but you're wild for them. Okay, now that we know Activision's complete statement,
All
let's go
right.
back to the article
Let's
from
see,
before. Black Ops 7 has mostly negative Steam reviews at the time of writing this, with players heavily criticizing the story, multiplayer modes, and performance. Meanwhile, it has one of the series' worst metascores at 67 and an abysmal 1.6 user score, suggesting overwhelming dislike. Now, the other day, the game business actually shared some software sales for Black Friday week, and here we can see the problem with the new Call of Duty game, okay? In Europe, here are the top 10 unit sales for the week ending November 30th. So that was Sunday again, so this does not include Cyber Monday or the sales after that, but coming in at first place, again, this is unit
Right,
sales,
that's fine.
EA Sports FC 26, that's FIFA, okay? Second place, Hogwarts Legacy, super old game, by the way. Third place, Call of Duty Black
Super
Ops
old
7.
game.
Fourth place, Battlefield 6, Red Dead Redemption 2, It Takes Two, Grand
That's
Theft Auto
also
5, Legends EA,
big.
yada,
I
yada,
mean,
yada.
old
Okay,
game.
if we look at revenue, we see that Call of Duty actually comes in second place, and that's because the unit sales for Hogwarts Legacy were at like $10 or $20 a piece, right? Like, that game was super discounted on like Steam and things like that. It was dirt cheap across every platform you could play it on. Black Ops 7, from what I'm told, did have a small discount for Black Friday and Black Friday weekend, but it still was much more expensive than games like Hogwarts Legacy were during that week, okay? So this was probably the second most important week of Black Ops 7's launch, okay? First was launch week, how good did it do at launch? And then second of all, how much did it sell for Black Friday week? Because that's a lot of times when parents, siblings, significant others, that's when people are buying gifts for their loved ones, right? So Black Ops 7 doesn't even come out on top for that week either. Things are not looking good. Now, to remind you guys just how bad Black Ops 7's
No, I'll
launch
probably put a
was
different
and the
filter.
reason why players have forced their hand with this, let's take a look at the reports here. First reported Black Ops 7
Put that
regional
one right
sales numbers
there,
are
make
unimpressive.
sure.
Data from Europe and Japan indicates that sales are down compared to Battlefield 6 and even Black Ops 6. The muted response to Call of Duty Black Ops 7 from critics and fans appears to have translated into lower sales for the futuristic first-person shooter,
Okay,
with the
I mean,
game
a little bit
reportedly falling behind competitors in a few regions.
Less.
The game business described Black Ops 7's European launch as disappointing, citing GSD, which tracks physical and digital game sales. Sales numbers for Black Ops 7's opening week are 63% below those of Battlefield 6, and the game business also estimates that sales are over 50% down compared to last year's Black Ops 6. Even still, the GSD BSD numbers indicate that Black Ops 7 was still the top selling game in Europe during its opening week. Wow, big surprise there. The article goes on to say, despite Japan not being a key market for the Call of Duty franchise, sales numbers there show a similar trend, with Insider Gaming reporting that Black Ops 7 had the worst Japanese launch in the franchise's history. This doesn't paint a complete picture of how Black Ops 7 is performing. The game is included with an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, so there is certainly a good chunk of the player base not reflected in these early reported numbers. Yeah, because Xbox Game Pass Ultimate has had a really spectacular year this year, with thousands and thousands of people canceling after they raised the price to $30 a month for the highest tier plan that allows you to play games like Black Ops 7 on day one. Even still, Activision, which is usually quick to publicly brag about record-breaking sales or player counts after launching a Call of Duty game, was uncharacteristically quiet about numbers after Black Ops 7 shipped. That's because they got the report and they were like, what do you mean 15 people bought it? Like that's got to be a typo, right? Like you're missing a couple of zeros. No, we're not. Okay, 15, only 15 players are online. What happened? Here's another article relating to Black Ops 7's launch. Call of Duty had a tough 2025, say experts, with fewer people playing than ever before. Xbox dropped the ball on the wrong year. The disappointing release of Black Ops 7 has rounded out a tough year for Call of Duty. Last year's Call of Duty Black Ops 6 broke franchise records and ended up the best-selling game in America, despite being free for Xbox Game Pass subscribers. This year's direct sequel, Black Ops 7, launched last month but was met with drastically lower sales. According to UK sales tracker GfK, Black Ops 7 physical sales were down 61% compared to Black Ops 6's launch weekend, with the game also struggling to match the highs of previous entries in North America and Asia. Chris Dring of the game business said that Call of Duty has had a hard year, and despite the success of Black Ops 6, fewer people are playing Call of Duty this year than they have been before. Call of Duty is underperforming this year due to a combination of community burnout, questionable creative and business decisions by Activision and Microsoft, and strong competition. However, Dring pointed out that Call of Duty is still attracting around 20 million players every month. Quote, even if the franchise has fallen a little bit this year, that's still mega numbers. Most games would kill for that. That's true, but falling a little bit is, I mean, sales down 50-60% year over year. That's not a little bit. That's a lot of bit, okay? I don't care who you are, who you ask. That's a massive decline. The game didn't flop, but it's a huge decline. Everyone knows it. Even Call of Duty, that is what this blog post proves. And look, here's the truth, okay? Black Ops 7 should have just been DLC. It should have just been DLC for Black Ops 6. I understand maybe they wanted to change the movement a little bit or this or that, but fundamentally, the game just isn't different enough, at least from the outside. Maybe once you get under the hood, maybe you're like, okay, yeah, look at all these changes. But when people are looking to make a purchase decision and you've got all this other competition out there, that's clearly different. And people are raving about how good the games are, like Battlefield 6, like Arc Raiders. It's really tough to release a game that looks exactly like last year's game for full price, right? And it's a slap in the face to the consumer because you're charging them full price for these releases, and then the first thing you see when you boot up the game is the microtransactions. You see the in-game shop. They're saying you should get COD points, you should get the battle pass, discount on a new operator skin, and get this gun skin, and get that DLC pack, and get this and that and the other. It's like, if you're gonna hyper monetize the game and make it look and play almost identical to last year's game, then either A, you gotta not charge full price for the game, or B, you gotta tone down the DLC. You can't be that greedy for this many years in a row and expect players to keep coming back. Players are sick of it, man. They are tired of being nickel and dimed. They're super price sensitive right now, so if you're gonna charge them 70 bucks for a game, there can't be, oh, the battle pass is 10 or 20 bucks, but you can't just buy it. You gotta buy COD points, and they only come in 500 or 1200 packs, and you need only 1,000 to get the battle pass. It's like they're tired of the greedy over monetization of these games, especially when it's not free to play. Games like Fortnite can do these things and shove the battle pass down your throat every turn because you don't have to pay to play the game. It's insane. And Activision has finally thrown in the towel. They finally admit that players were right. And the crazy part is that the players have been saying stuff like this for years now. The biggest thing, and this was one of the things that caused me to quit the game, skill-based matchmaking. It's really so, like, as a former Call of Duty player, I still have my blood boil talking about this because it is such an obvious change that they could have made literally like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. That would have,
I know SBREM is so ugly. It's the worst thing ever created in gaming, but
down and saying the players are wrong, we go with the data, the players are wrong.
That's why I don't look like a good player, because the real good players, they
like, oh, we tweaked it, oh, we turned it
They
down,
punish
oh,
us
we
good
changed
players,
it.
and
then
the
every
hackers,
year,
they
launch
reward
weekend is
the
fun,
hackers.
and then the following week it's back to how it was. It's the same bullshit every
Yep.
single time. I'm sorry, but it's not fun to have a 1 KD every single game because every match is a sweat fest, because skill-based matchmaking ensures that everyone in the lobby is basically the same skill level,
I
right?
didn't even
That's
get
not fun. That's not what
nothing.
made Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2. That's not what made those games fun. It was not skill-based matchmaking. Yes, I know there was a little bit in there, but those games were fun because you could Harrier, Chopper Gunner, Tactical Nuke. That's why people played those games. It's supposed to be an arcade shooter. People don't want to sort through 500 attachments for their gun, and each one, oh, it increases bullet drop by 0.5%, and this one increases range by a foot. Create a Class was better a decade ago. I'm just gonna say it. I know some of the modern players might not agree with me, but we call it the golden age for a reason. It's because that's when the franchise was at its peak. If you want a more hyper realistic gun customization system, keep it to Warzone, okay? But when we're talking about an arcade shooter, arcade multiplayer experiences, why is it so serious? Nobody asked for this. Anyway, guys, Call of Duty's empire is officially collapsing. They've admitted it here with this press release. If you just read between the lines, they know their current strategy is no longer working, and the players have forced their hand, and they now have to pivot and do something else. And really, it's super embarrassing that they're starting off with a free-to-play weekend already. It's so sad. Anyway, guys, if you made it to the end of the video, consider dropping a thumbs up on it. It really helps out the channel a ton. And you guys might think you're subscribed because you've seen a ton of my videos, but you're actually not. Double check down below.
All right, remember the story we did a couple of months ago about the woman who said this guy chased her down, kicked in her door, and assaulted her?
So what happened? He kicked in the door. I ran. He choked me out.
Come to find out, when police catch the guy, he happens to be in a wheelchair, so he can't chase anybody down and can't assault anyone.
You said I kicked in the door. And why is that a problem? Because I'm in a wheelchair.
Then police go and arrest him anyway, even though it's impossible for a man in a wheelchair to kick a door down and chase a woman down the street on foot.
It's a ruse, man. So I mean, it's an obvious attempt to not to go to jail. So
is this a joke?
41-year-old Charles Reed.
I literally can't. I don't have muscle control. I'm not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Falls to the floor inside the College Park Police Department in March after an officer arrested him for a crime he did not commit.
Then after they arrest him, the woman comes forward and says, "It's obviously a mistake. You've got the wrong man. I was confused."
According to this email obtained by Charles' attorney, Catherine wrote to a College Park police detective this week asking to change her statement, writing, "My mental state and physical trauma in that moment worked to confuse me. Please contact me at your convenience so I can edit the information in the report and clear the name of an innocent man."
So now we have an update. What happened to the police officers who arrested an innocent man? Was the woman who made the false report ultimately charged? Did the guy in the wheelchair get any money? Let's talk about it. Here's a quick personal update before I get into the insanity of this case. Now, about 4 weeks ago, I was hospitalized for a massive brain tumor. I was rushed into emergency surgery, and it took about 12 hours for the doctors to get the tumor out of my head. So that's why if you look at the channel, I haven't put out a video in about 3 to 4 weeks. Now, I'm still recovering. I'm still a little banged up, but thank God I am alive. Now, I want to make it very clear. I'm grateful and appreciative for every single person that reached out. Posts of mine on Twitter got something like 20 million views. It was incredible, the amount of love and support. And, like, you know, it humbles you.
20 million views? Wow. Okay.
What if I told you only 3 companies control everything you buy? Your groceries, your medicine, your cleaning products, your favorite media, the company that supplies water to your home, down to the electric company that is powering whatever device you're using right now. Different brands, different labels, different promises, but look at who actually owns and controls these companies, and you'll see the same names over and over again. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. 3 companies you never buy from directly, yet they silently own massive stakes in the companies that supply almost every product in your daily life. This means the choices we think we're making, they're an illusion. It doesn't matter which brand you grab off the shelf, the money flows to the same place. And when a tiny group of financial giants owns the companies that make you sick and owns the companies that sell the cure, you begin to understand that this isn't a marketplace. It's a closed system, one designed to keep you consuming, dependent, and unaware. Your life begins in a hospital owned by their investments.
All true.
And ends in a funeral home owned by their investments. Everything in between. What you eat, what you drink, what you put on your skin, the medicine you rely on, all flows through the same corporate bloodstream. Tonight, we're digging into the part of the store you were never meant to notice and the ownership machine quietly shaping your life without ever showing its face. I didn't find any of this by digging through secret files or classified documents. It started with something mundane, everyday products and who actually made them. I began noticing the same parent companies buying up different brands, the same factories producing competitors, the same ingredients inside different labels, and every time I tried to trace ownership upward, I landed in the same place, the top institutional shareholders. The more I followed the paper trail, the more obvious it became. Companies that are marketed as rivals are often owned by the same handful of financial firms. This isn't about consumer brands. It's about financial architecture. At the top of the pyramid sit 3 giants. These aren't corporations that sell you products. They're asset managers, firms that control staggering amounts of money for clients, governments, pension funds, investors, and corporations.
The sounds have changed. It tricked me. Whatever sounds like up is down.
Who sits on executive boards?
I don't know why they changed the sounds, but whatever.
Disappear, what policies companies adopt, and how trillions of dollars flow through the economy. Their influence isn't theoretical. It's baked into the structure of the market itself. A share of stock is more than a number in an app.
Good job.
When a corporation holds an annual meeting, shareholders vote on who sits on the board, how the company should approach political, environmental, or ethical initiatives, executive compensation, long-term strategy. When one institution owns 5, 10, or even 20% of a company, their vote carries tremendous weight. When the same institution owns large chunks of hundreds of companies, its influence spreads across multiple industries. Now imagine 3 institutions owning large stakes in nearly every Fortune 500 company, 3 institutions all influencing media, pharmaceuticals, food manufacturing, energy, technology, transportation, banking. This isn't a conspiracy, it's the mathematical reality of modern finance. When you follow the shares, you find who actually holds the power. Once you understand the structure, you can see it everywhere. Media conglomerates, telecom providers, water utilities, freight companies, and yes, even funeral home chains trace back to the same ownership network. The companies look independent, the brands feel diverse, the marketing is different, but the ownership converges upward. You're not looking at a tree, you're looking at a funnel. To understand how massive this is, I gathered data from the top 100 publicly traded U.S. companies. The ownership sheets were nearly identical. Vanguard at the top, BlackRock right behind, State Street close after, followed by the usual banking institutions. When you combine the influence of the top few shareholders across those companies, they control trillions in equity, enough voting power to shape entire industries. This gives them more power than most governments have. Zoom out further and include the top 25 financial institutions. And they collectively hold majority influence across the entire corporate landscape. This isn't hidden. It's publicly available information. It's just rarely talked about because these are the companies that control the majority of the media and news outlets. And the last thing they want is the curtain to be pulled back. When you realize that the same handful of institutions sit at the top of almost every major corporation, the next question is obvious. What does that mean for us? Because these firms don't make money when you're healthy, self-sufficient, or buying less. They make money when you consume more.
What happened, bro? What happened?
When something goes wrong and you come back to buy the solution they already own. If the same institutional shareholders own the shampoo company, the hair loss treatment company, and the dermatology
it was on top. Change it.
When the shampoo destroys your scalp, they profit 3 times. if the same institutions own the food corporations, the agricultural chemical companies, the hospitals, the insurance companies, and the pharmaceutical giants, then selling you food that inflames, disrupts, or sickens you isn't a failure. It's a business model, a perfectly closed loop. They sell you the problem, they sell you the cure, and they sell you the follow-up medication for the side effects from the cure, all under the illusion that these are independent competing companies, all under the illusion that the market is working. The real danger of concentrated ownership is that the incentives shift from serving consumers to exploiting them. If eating processed food makes you sick, that's not a problem when the same institutions own the snack company, the soda company, the hospital, the diagnostic lab, the insurance company, the pharmaceutical manufacturer, and the funeral service at the end of the line. When the same financial players hold shares across that entire chain, your suffering isn't an accident. It's the plan. A society where sickness, stress, addiction, and dependency are profitable is a society where those outcomes are quietly encouraged. And when the companies appearing to compete against each other all report back to the same upper layer, there is no incentive to break the cycle, only to optimize it. You're told you have choices, but if every road leads to the same owners, you're not choosing.
That was a bot.
You're selecting which part of the machine you want to feed next. Let's break this down even further. Take baby formula. Reports found alarming levels of heavy metals in mainstream baby foods. But what did the ownership sheets show? The same top institutions invested in the baby food companies are also invested in the pediatric drug manufacturers and the health insurance conglomerates that will later pay the hospital bills.
Actually really good.
Even water isn't immune. The bottled water brands owned by major corporations are held by the same institutions invested in water treatment chemicals and the municipal suppliers facing contamination losses.
Almost got the money.
Add Ford
If the
Mustang
water
to
supply
spec
fails,
5.
they profit from
Said.
the bottled water. If bottled water fails, they profit from the lawsuit payouts. If people get sick, they profit from the medication. If ultra-processed foods create gut issues, the same owners benefit when you buy antacids, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and prescription reflux medication. If cleaning products trigger asthma, those same owners are invested in the inhaler manufacturers, the allergy drug makers, the medical device suppliers. If long-term chemical exposure increases cancer risk, the same owners show up in oncology drug companies, radiation therapy equipment providers, and hospital networks specializing in cancer treatment. And when those treatments create side effects, there are entire drug categories, also held by the same owners, created solely to treat side effects of other drugs. A system where the pain created by one product funnels consumers into another product and another product
you
after
got 'em
that,
up? Okay.
all owned by the same people. It's not a free market. It's a system designed to keep you sick, dependent, and enslaved. But don't just take my word for it. You can access this information easily for yourself. Look at the brands you have sitting around your house. Ask Google who owns that brand. You'll likely get an answer of the parent company. Then you need to ask who the institutional shareholders are of that parent company. Chances are it will be BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street as the top 3. You can do this with almost every media company, food company, energy company, utility company. The answer will be the same for most of them. We live inside an ecosystem built not for human well-being, but for perpetual consumption. They don't need to force you into dependency. They just need to design a world where escaping it is nearly impossible. Because if every choice leads to the same owners, the choice was never real. Now that you've seen how the ownership machine works, the question becomes, what can any of us actually do about it? The truth is, we're not powerless. Not yet. Yes, the shelf space is dominated by consolidated brands. Yes, the independent companies are pushed to the edges of the aisle, often hiding on the top shelf or buried near the floor, but they are still there. Small, privately owned, founder-run companies that haven't been absorbed into the machine yet. And the only thing that keeps them alive, the only thing that protects real competition, is whether or not we choose them. Because if consumers stop buying independent brands, they either die or get swallowed by the conglomerates. But if consumers support them, they survive. They grow, they remain a genuine alternative. Here's how to find them. You don't need insider knowledge or special tools. You just need to know what to look for. 1. Turn the product around. Privately owned brands almost always list the founder's name, a small headquarters address, a direct website, words like family owned, independently owned, or small batch. Big brands rarely mention any of this. 2. Look for the phrase distributed by. It's almost always owned by a corporation, not an independent company. 3. Search the brand name plus who owns this brand.
Let's go to bench.
See whether it's a subsidiary, a trademark,
It's okay, bro. It
part of a
happens. It
conglomerate,
happens.
or still independent. 4. Check if the brand appears in multiple major retailers. If it's in every chain at once, especially with perfect shelf placement, it's likely corporate owned. Every time you choose
Hopefully
a
his skin
privately owned
doesn't
brand,
disappear
chip away at the
magically
closed
when
loop we've
he
exposed
hops
tonight.
on before
You
he hops on the
support
plane.
real innovation, real accountability, real competition. And if enough people do it, the ownership machine loses its fuel because its fuel is us. The system you saw tonight isn't invincible. It relies on the belief that people won't look past the label, that they won't research, won't question, won't care. But once you understand the structure behind the shelves, you see every purchase differently. You recognize the patterns, you see which companies were built to serve communities and which ones were built to serve human suffering. You can't dismantle the machine overnight, but you can choose not to feed it. Because the one thing the ownership giants can't buy is a fully awake population that refuses to play along. This is Hack
Welcome
Headlines.
in, welcome in.
Thank
Good
you for
afternoon,
watching.
good morning.
And remember,
Hope you
every
guys
dollar
doing
you
well.
spend is a vote. Make it count.
On this Monday, we're getting brand new insight about the guest list for an annual hate conference at a state park right here in Middle Tennessee. And we've now discovered it includes people who have celebrated political violence. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston. Carrie is off. The American Renaissance Conference has been coming to the area since 2012, yet not much has been known about the cast of characters who attend. That is until now. News Channel 5 Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams was there 3 weeks ago when the conference returned to Montgomery Bell State Park in Dixon County. Phil is with us now, and I know you've been working hard to figure out who you were actually seeing come into that place, right?
That's right, which was not something that the conference organizers liked at all. As it turns out, there's probably a good reason.
If you are not here to celebrate and lift up love, what are you doing here?
All right. Okay, let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Gonna watch some news. El Paso. Let's check this out. I just want to check these on top.
When you're starting a YouTube channel, there's a lot of things to figure out as you go. In fact, I think that's the key. Try and figure out things as you go because it can get overwhelming. And I'm not even talking about analytics. I'm talking about settings, as like 30 settings that I go through and I make sure they're either on or off. So I thought in this video, I would walk you through every one of those and kind of explain why I either turn it on or turn it off. Some are set for default on, and a couple, thank goodness, and thank you YouTube, you default it off because I don't like these at all. So I'm gonna go into all that. I've got my trusty cup of joe because this is gonna be a while. So by the way, my name is Kevin Colby. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. And I'm going to tell you exactly where we are now.
Maybe this is coming. Oh, man.
The reason I stress that is because
Spec
sometimes on mobile, it's a little different to get to. I'm a desktop guy. I don't know if it's because I got fat thumbs or whatever, but here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into your YouTube studio and we're going to start its settings all the way down here. It's the little gear icon. We're going to click there.
Oh, these are...
And the first place we're going to go is channel. And we're going to go to advanced settings. Okay, first up, we're going to talk about audience. Do you
Because I was
want to set
recording
your
that.
channel as made for kids? Mine has said no, set this channel as not made for kids. I almost never upload content that's made for kids. Now, I want to be clear about something. This is about who your content is made for. I think this may be one of the most confusing settings on YouTube. If you make videos that are made for kids, kids are the primary audience, you need to click yes on that. Now, there's a result of that. If you produce video that's made for kids, and ain't nothing wrong with that, YouTube will turn comments off. It's something they did years ago with involves COPPA. To me, it's stupid, but they didn't ask. But if you make content for kids, you definitely want to change that. I don't make content for kids, so therefore I have mine set as no.
Yeah, so basically I guess if you have a
so my content isn't made
2.0 KD and above on
a kid can watch it. I appreciate that, but it's not made for them. So I can't control who might watch it. This is who the primary audience is.
All right, that's
Okay,
it.
We're still in
That's it.
channel under advanced settings, and you see automatic captions. I have don't show potentially inappropriate words turned on. This all has to do with the captions because, as it says there, auto captioning can occasionally make mistakes. And the last thing I want is something being captioned with a really naughty word that I didn't know about. So that is turned on. I also allow automatic product tagging, which basically means that I'm giving YouTube the option to tag any products automatically. Now, some of these settings only apply if you're in the partner program, things like that. So you may not see some of these if you're in the partner program. And basically, the best threshold is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. You'll see some of these. I also think some are turned on maybe when you get around 10,000 subscribers. So again, if you don't see some of those, don't freak out. What this is doing is anytime I mention a product, if YouTube feels like they can tag it, they will do that. We're going to scroll down, and another one is clips. Allow viewers to clip my content. Absolutely. This doesn't mean it gives them the ability to download my content, which is bad, illegal, lazy, and just bad. This allows someone to clip it, which you can do. And when they do that, all it does is points back to the content on my channel. So it's like, sure, go ahead. I mean, if that gives them some content while it stays on my channel, don't have any problem with that. Now, the next setting has to do with AI enhancement of your videos. So let me show you that. Video quality enhancements. So basically, YouTube is saying they can go back and they can use AI to enhance the visual quality or the audio. Now, it has to do with the resolution it was on. I think it was only on videos that were 720p and up, but it can go all the way through and do that. The reason I've decided to turn that off is because I'm fine with the resolution I uploaded the video in. Personally, I'm not keen on this at all. I've seen some examples of it, and all has to do with the YouTube will turn comments off. It's something they did that's made for all the way down here. It's the little gear icon. We're going to click there. And the first place we're going to go is channel. And we're going to go to advanced settings. Okay, first up, we're going to talk about audience. Do you want to set your channel as made for kids? Mine is said no. Set this channel as not made for kids. I almost never upload content that's made for kids. Now, I want to be clear about something. This is about who your content is made for. I think this may be one of the most confusing settings on YouTube. If you make videos that are made for kids, kids are the primary audience, you need to click yes on that. Now, there's a result of that. If you produce video that's made for kids, and ain't nothing wrong with that, YouTube will turn comments off. It's something they did years ago with involves COPPA. To me, it's stupid, but they didn't ask. But if you make content for kids, you definitely want to change that. I don't make content for kids, so therefore, I have mine set as no. Let me say one other thing about this too. This is not if kids could accidentally watch it. So my content isn't made for kids. It's primarily people over 40. A kid can watch it. I appreciate that, but it's not made for them. So I can't control who might watch it. This is who the primary audience is. Okay, we're still in channel under advanced settings, and you see automatic captions. I have don't show potentially inappropriate words turned on. This all has to do with the captions because, as it says there, auto captioning can occasionally make mistakes. And the last thing I want is something being captioned with a really naughty word that I didn't know about. So that is turned on. I also allow automatic product tagging, which basically means that I'm giving YouTube the option to tag any products automatically. Now, some of these settings only apply if you're in the partner program, things like that. So you may not see some of these if you're in the partner program. And basically, the best threshold is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. You'll see some of these. I also think some are turned on maybe when you get around 10,000 subscribers. So again, if you don't see some of those, don't freak out. What this is doing is anytime I mention a product, if YouTube feels like they can tag it, they will do that. We're going to scroll down, and another one is clips. Allow viewers to clip my content. Absolutely. This doesn't mean it gives them the ability to download my content, which is bad, 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 illegal, lazy, and just bad. This allows someone. So again, if you don't see the option to tag any products automatically. Now, some of these settings, automatic product tagging, which basically means that I'm giving YouTube the option to tag any products automatically. Now, some of these settings only apply if you're in the partner program, things like that. So you may not see some of these if you're in the partner program. And basically, the best threshold is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. You'll see some of these. I also think some are turned on maybe when you get around 10,000 subscribers. So again, if you don't see some of those, don't freak out. What this is doing is anytime I mention a product, if YouTube feels like they can tag it, they will do that. We're going to scroll down, and another one is clips. Allow viewers to clip my content. Absolutely. This doesn't mean it gives them the ability to download my content, which is bad, 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 illegal, lazy, and just bad. This allows someone to clip it, which you can do. And when they do that, all it does is points back to the content on my channel. So it's like, sure, go ahead. I mean, if that gives them some content while it stays on my channel, don't have any problem with that. Now, the next setting has to do with AI enhancement of your videos. So let me show you that. Video quality enhancements. So basically, YouTube is saying they can go back and they can use AI to enhance the visual quality or the audio. Now, it has to do with the resolution it was on. I think it was only on videos that were 720p and up, but it can go all the way through and do that. The reason I've decided to turn that off is because I'm fine with the resolution I uploaded the video in. Personally, I'm not keen on this at all. I've seen some examples of it, and is there AI that goes in and cleans up videos? But here's the thing. Let's say you've done some videos to look old, to maybe look like old retro videos, and all of a sudden there's stupid AIs making it look better. So I just decided to turn that off. Hang on. Joe hit. The next one is hype. Let viewers hype my content. I'm going to be honest. I think this is probably one of the silliest things they've done. It feels like it's gamifying it. But you know what? If you want to hype my content, you hype away. I'm going to let you. And then this one. And this one is a big one. And this one has to do with AI again. Allow third-party companies to train AI models using my channel content. That is a big fat no. Leave that sucker off. This is one of those settings that I thank you, YouTube, for allowing the creators to decide. So this is not an automatically on, and you have to decide to opt out. You have to decide to opt in. And I'll be honest, no. I don't want any AI model anywhere to train off of my content to use for whatever. There's already issues I have with AI. I ain't playing that AI game. All right, hang on, one more. All right, so we're going to go back and we're going to now look at upload defaults, which is right under channels, basic info. Now, you can actually add a default description. I would highly recommend that. Right now, this is the current one I use. That means every time I upload a video, it's there. But I want to show you visibility. You have these options, public, private, unlisted. I always keep mine unlisted. Here's why. I want to control when it goes public. Unlisted allows me to do some other things. I don't need it private. No one can see the video if it's unlisted unless I share the link or if it's in a public playlist. So what I do is I always upload my videos to unlisted. I go in and add any optimization I want to, thumbnail, and then I switch it on the video level, which I'll show you that in just a minute. I switch it there to scheduled, which automatically makes it private. That wasn't confusing. All right, we're back in upload defaults. Now we're going to go to advanced settings. And here are some of the ones. Automatic chapters.
I already got that
I leave
set.
this on. This is defaulted off. I turn it on. I'm going to let YouTube decide if they want to add chapters or not. And I can hear what maybe somebody's saying is like, well, wait a minute, Kevin, chapters are good and you should add them. What I have noticed over time, YouTube will add their chapters if they want to. So you can go in and painstakingly add chapters. YouTube could add their own chapters to me, which is kind of silly because then they can compete with each other. Google can add chapters as well. I've had videos at some point, Google added chapters. I didn't know it. I didn't tell them they could. So my feeling is just leave it on and then let YouTube decide if they want to add chapters and key moments or not. Scrolling down, automatic dubbing. To me, this is one of the cooler things YouTube came with. I've heard mixed results with it. For some reason, I've heard it's very similar in German. I don't know why. My great-great-grandfather came over from Germany. That had something to do with it.
Okay,
but
that's
I just
cool.
decided to leave it on, and so it allows automatic dubbing. I don't speak any of the languages that they're dubbed in, so I have no business manually reviewing any of those. So I just leave it on, and I think it's 12 or 14 languages. All right, now let's talk about the comments. I leave comments on, and I set the moderation to strict. You have none, basic, strict, hold all. If you hold all, you're always going to have to go in and approve them, and I ain't got time for that. So I leave mine at strict. The reason I leave mine at strict is because occasionally somebody will say something and YouTube will hold that comment for review, and they allow me to review it. I would say a lot of times they're holding comments that are fine. I read it and I'm like, I don't really get that. There are some other things they hold for. I'll show you that later. I would just rather hold them and just in case. And then occasionally under strict, there'll be some other things that they'll hold. I'm like, man, I'm really glad I had that selected. All right, we're back in settings, and now we're going to go to add categories. And really the only one I'm going to show you here is sensitive categories. And again, you may not have these features yet. It depends if you're in the partner program and things like that. But if you do, now you'll know what to look for. When you go to sensitive categories, they list all
That's fine. I'm not a partner program. I don't think people are going to support me anyways. Okay, let's restart the stream.